Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a crisis that's become all too familiar in American life. It's October 6, 2025, and the US government is shut down, again. For many, it feels like déjà vu, a recurring nightmare that never seems to end. National parks are closed. Federal workers are home without pay. And Congress? They left town for the weekend, leaving the country in limbo. Imagine your house is on fire, and the firefighters decide to take a vacation. That's the level of absurdity we're dealing with. This isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a total failure of basic governance. The very systems we rely on are grinding to a halt. Think of government as a giant vending machine. You put in your taxes, you expect services in return, safe roads, open parks, help in emergencies. Right now, the machine is broken, and it smells like burnt wires. Nothing is coming out, no matter how much you paid. The core issue? A standoff over the Affordable Care Act, a law that's become a political football yet again. Enhanced subsidies for health insurance are about to expire, threatening coverage for millions of Americans who depend on them. Democrats want to extend them, arguing that health care is a right, not a privilege. Republicans, led by President Trump, refuse, and as punishment, they're shutting everything down, using the government as leverage in a high-stakes game. This isn't an abstract debate. It's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet or political talking points. Real people are suffering, essential services are running on fumes, and federal workers are left in limbo, unsure when their next paycheck will come. These aren't political pawns, they're ordinary Americans with bills to pay, families to feed, and lives to live. Year after year, they become casualties in a political war they never started, forced to bear the brunt of decisions made far above their heads. The stakes are high. Programs like WIC, which feeds millions of low-income women and children, are days from running out of money. For many, this is a lifeline. FEMA's disaster relief fund is nearly empty during hurricane season, leaving communities vulnerable when they need help most. This isn't just dysfunction, it's a manufactured catastrophe, making the country less safe and less stable for political gain. The consequences ripple far beyond Washington. It's a stunning abdication of responsibility happening right now, and unless something changes, we'll all keep paying the price. Let's talk about the people at the center of this mess. Federal employees. These are the folks who keep the country running, often behind the scenes, making sure everything from national parks to airport security operates smoothly. Over 2 million Americans work for the federal government, and the vast majority of them are scattered across the country, not just in Washington, D.C. They're your neighbors, friends, and family members. Right now, hundreds of thousands are either furloughed or forced to work without pay. Essential services continue, but the people providing them are left in limbo, unsure when their next paycheck will arrive. Imagine being told to show up every day, to do your job, but your paycheck? Who knows when it's coming? Bills don't stop just because the government does. Food banks near federal hubs are bracing for a surge in demand, as more workers turn to them for help putting food on the table. Meanwhile, Congress keeps getting paid. Thanks to a law they wrote for themselves, their paychecks are protected, no matter what. Federal contractors, like janitors and cafeteria workers, get nothing. They're not just missing paychecks, they're missing any hope of back pay. No back pay, no safety net. For many, that means falling behind on rent, utilities, and other essentials. This isn't just about money, it's about morale. Every shutdown chips away at trust and motivation. Why dedicate your career to public service if you're treated as expendable every budget season? The uncertainty takes a toll on families and futures. The government is bleeding talent, making it harder to recruit the next generation of public servants who want stability and respect. Lawmakers pledging to donate their salaries is just PR. It doesn't fix the underlying problem or help those who are struggling. The real issue is using paychecks as political leverage, turning ordinary workers into bargaining chips in a high-stakes game. The people paying the price are those living paycheck to paycheck, now staring into a financial abyss, wondering how long they can hold on. At the heart of this shutdown, healthcare. Enhanced ACA subsidies are set to expire, and if they do, insurance premiums could more than double for millions. Democrats refuse to fund the government without extending these subsidies, arguing you can't strip healthcare from millions. Their proposal: keep the government open, make the subsidies permanent. Republicans, led by President Trump, call this a partisan wish list and have passed their own doomed funding bills. It's political posturing, each side daring the other to blink. Trump has embraced the shutdown, even using AI-generated videos to mock opponents. This isn't negotiation, it's a hostage standoff, with Americans' health on the line. Republicans hope voters blame Democrats for closed parks, not lost healthcare. It's a cynical gamble, disconnected from the reality millions face. For many, this isn't a game, it's life or death. In Washington, fixing the problem comes second to finding someone to blame. The nation's capital has perfected the art of finger-pointing, where accountability is always someone else's responsibility. Democrats, led by Jeffries and Schumer, say Republicans are manufacturing a crisis and holding the country hostage. They argue that the stakes are too high for political games, warning that real people will pay the price for this manufactured chaos. Republicans, led by Speaker Johnson, claim they've done their job and blame Senate Democrats for the shutdown. They insist their proposals are reasonable and accuse Democrats of refusing to negotiate in good faith. But the reality is, their bills, packed with poison pills, were designed to be rejected. These measures are less about solutions and more about scoring political points. It's like baking a cake with laundry detergent and blaming your friend for not eating it. The process is set up to fail, just so blame can be assigned. President Trump, once critical of shutdowns, now revels in the chaos, using it as a campaign tool. He's found new energy in the dysfunction, turning every crisis into a rallying cry for his base. He's not leading, he's fueling dysfunction for political gain. Instead of calming the waters, he stirs them, hoping the confusion will benefit him at the polls. The public is left confused and cynical, tuning out the noise. Many Americans feel powerless, unsure who to trust, and exhausted by the endless spectacle. But this isn't just both sides being bad. One side is fighting to protect healthcare, the other is willing to shut down the government to gut it. The consequences are real, and the differences matter. These are not morally equivalent positions. The stakes are about people's lives, not just political theater. The blame game only deepens public distrust. Every round of accusations chips away at faith in government, making it harder to solve real problems. And the real losers, ordinary Americans caught in the crossfire, left to deal with the fallout while politicians keep pointing fingers. The shutdown is a direct assault on the social safety net. WIC, which provides food and healthcare for nearly 7 million women and children, is days from running out of funds. States will soon turn away mothers and babies seeking basic nutrition. The Trump administration has also targeted Social Security disability benefits, making it harder for older Americans to qualify. While Social Security checks still go out, new applications and disputes are delayed, leaving vulnerable people in limbo. These delays can mean eviction, bankruptcy, or worse. The shutdown's architects know exactly which programs will be hit hardest. It's not just bad governance, it's morally bankrupt. You'd think disaster relief would be above politics, but FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund is nearly empty during peak hurricane season. The shutdown blocks new funding, leaving FEMA to ration what little is left. Most FEMA employees are still working, but long-term recovery projects are grinding to a halt. Communities still rebuilding from past disasters are left stranded. The message: once the cameras leave, so does government support. It's a betrayal of the promise that your country will help you rebuild. Gambling with disaster relief during hurricane season is reckless and unnecessary. Leaders are prioritizing political battles over public safety. This is a self-inflicted wound, leaving the nation more vulnerable. You can't claim to lead while cutting the budget for the nation's lifeboats. The shutdown isn't just a DC problem, it ripples across the country. In cities with large federal or military presence, local economies take a hit as workers stop spending. Small businesses lose customers, cut staff, and sometimes close. Federal contractors lose their entire income overnight. Tourism suffers. National parks and museums are closed, devastating gateway communities. The shutdown freezes new business loans, halts passport processing, and delays FDA and EPA inspections. The gears of the economy grind to a halt. This isn't a targeted strike, it's economic carpet bombing. Every day the shutdown drags on, the damage spreads. Recovery will be slow and painful. It's a slow-motion disaster engineered by our own government. While we fight over basic governance, the world is watching, and they're not impressed. America's global credibility depends on its ability to govern itself. Repeated shutdowns send a message: we're unreliable and dysfunctional. This undermines our foreign policy, disrupts intelligence, and creates uncertainty for allies. Rivals use our dysfunction as propaganda, stepping into the leadership vacuum we create. The long-term erosion of trust is real. The US dollar and treasury bonds rely on the assumption of stability. Each crisis adds doubt, making investors and governments look elsewhere. We can't lecture others about stability when our own government can't function. The world's wealthiest nation unable to keep the lights on is a sign of decline. This shutdown isn't just a domestic failure, it's a foreign policy disaster, and the world has a front row seat.